Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Niels, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Krister.
Hello.
And Cinders.
Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And it looks like we had a slow news week this week because we didn't have any updates and we didn't have any Bulwer yet. Certainly a lot later than I was originally expecting. But we did have a posting of the 2024 public event schedule, which lists all of the special events that are happening through the course of the year. Though, of course, there may be others added and some things may be changed as plans change. But for the moment, we have a link to what is the current plan for this year. And of course, what's currently active is the Ill Omens event, which is on until next week on February 1st. And we have a Forester crafting event that has just ended. Actually, no, that one just ended, all right? And this is Skirmish Weekend. In case you want a little extra 25% on your marks on there as you're finishing up your Ill Omens. And, of course, all the other things that are listed in there, including the dates of the legendary item track seasons beginning for each of those new ones in there. They note that they are expecting the legendary item eye level cap to increase to 520 on February 21st. And some people are wondering, is that then going to be about the time that they're expecting the instances to come out, perhaps? I guess we'll find out about that, if that is the case or not. We have the curator returning on February 29th because I guess she can't resist a Elite Day appearance. And we have the Spring Festival starting on March 7th.
Yay!
Right. Yes, because you want to get some Shire Plum, right?
Yes, I need some Shire Plum dies to pull off an epic and hysterical cosmetic change.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
How can you get... I'm trying to think about how you can possibly get any more pink. I guess the plum... What am I talking about? It's plum. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Isn't that how Willy Wonka
No,
dressed?
she needs to have a lore master dressed up in Shire Plum, and so she could use the name Professor Plum.
Plus, it looked pretty cool to have them side by side. They look like what are the little runt candies? Purple and pink.
Haha.
Yeah. All right. And on April 18th, we have the start of the 17th anniversary.
Nice. Excellent. I have a question. I'm looking at this.
Yeah.
What is Myrtle Mint?
Myrtle Mint is another
It's a
one
special
of
time,
the...
though.
No. Myrtle Mint is one of the alternating figments
Okay.
barterers. So they have Myrtle Mint and... Yes, we have Myrtle Mint is when it comes in the spring, and then we have Rowan Raspberry is the one for the autumn. I think there's one for the summer. Oh, Filbert Fig is in the summer.
Who do we get for the winter?
I think the autumn one, actually, see, Rowan Raspberry is late autumn, so it also covers the winter time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they have 4-month stints instead of 3-month stints. At least that's what it looks like for 2024.
Okay. Cool.
And the curator will then, as I said, will be on Leap Day and for the 4th of July weekend. And I think Christmas is during the Christmas season and ramping up to Christmas. So those are the times which we'll have the curator. And of course, we have the Midsummer Festival in June. I guess as you would expect. Now, they list the Forester crafting events they are having. I will presume that if they add any more crafting events, that they will be added as things go along. Farmers Fair is in the late August, early September. Harvest Mass Festival is going to be mid-October to early November. Endurance Day event, of course, is at its usual time. So all those things are in the list of... Oh, that's right. And, of course, we are expecting the Treebeard cap to be raised, of course, a couple of times this year. It will be raised to 100 in late May. And we'll be going up to 105 in early December.
What does Treebeard's cap look like?
Oh, well, mostly leafy.
Oh, I was hoping it'd be like a bowler hat or something. Add a little bit of sophistication, you know.
And anyway, you can have a full look of it from the link in the show notes. And on top of that, Scenario went through another one of his casual strolls. This time he did a casual stroll through the Paths of the Dead, and they went over into Western Gondor and did the parts going from the Paths of the Dead up to Linhir. And that's where he stopped for that. I presume that he'll be going to Pelargir and maybe into Eastern Gondor perhaps for the next casual stroll after that. Now, the parts on Gondor may be a little faster in him going through there because he's recently been through Gondor, because though King's Gondor, but the two areas will be, of course, similar to each other in many ways. Mm-hmm. And anyway, we have a link to the YouTube video for his casual stroll through the Paths of the Dead and Western Gondor. So that is actually it for the news for this week. So let's go and head out and find out what's on sale this week. Cinders, what do we have?
Well, we have the Sublime Patrons Coffer that is still here for a limited time. It's available through February 1st, and you can read more about it by following the link in the show notes. You can also stand out from the crowd and get 25% off select shared wardrobe, select cosmetic outfit slots, mounted combat trait specs, select cosmetics, also through February 1st. And the weekly coupon is for a free tome of tracking. And the coupon code is Tracking Tome, all caps, now through February 1st as well.
Whee! Now it's time to do a little bit of reminiscing. And the question for this week is, what is your favorite skirmish, raid, and instance in LOTRO thus far, and why?
It doesn't necessarily have to be all three, just for the record.
Okay.
Out of like those categories, do you have a favorite?
Right. Okay, Krister, what's your favorite?
Well, I would have to say my favorite would be a raid, and my favorite raid was Dragok. And the reason that Dragok is my favorite, or used to be before we couldn't play it very well anymore, was just simply the challenge of it, the effective use of the fellowship skills. And it really came down to having to understand that you had to understand the mechanics of that fight in order to succeed at it. So I really liked that. That was my favorite because, of course, the other aspect to it is not only is the raid itself challenging and interesting, and I think Dragok is a very, very well done dragon as well. I really just like his all of his flavor text and all the scenes we see him in. But of course, the other aspect to it is I think about 40% of the fun of that raid is simply waiting for everybody to get down to the first position where we launch, because that confidence course is so funny. It's so funny how half the time of the raid can be just taken up from people dying over and over again as they're running down the corridors. They're getting smoked by Dragok.
Well, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, we ran so much that I remember in my dreams I started to hear, I see you. But yeah, so Dragok was my favorite.
Okay, and that one is rather strange because of all the raids in there, that had the most unusual difference between Tier 1 and Tier 2. You remember what that was?
Oh, yeah. But that's what was so interesting about it, too, is that it just felt, you felt really good when you could actually get through that raid.
Get through it with 12?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah. We're not confident today, so we'll try 24 instead. Yeah, it's one of only 2 raids in the game that have a 24 player mode in it.
And when you had that, did you ever play it 24?
I don't know. That's the thing. The one time I remember actually finishing it, I think we were over leveled maybe, so I don't think one would bother trying it at 24 in that case.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting just having that many people packed.
Yeah.
As well.
Though I have done the Heligrod Dragon Wing with round 24 or something like that. So yeah, that's
Yeah, like that's Thorog, right?
yeah, the Thorog.
Oh yeah, I remember we used to do those Thorog runs all the time at one point. Everybody was organizing runs for that. I can't remember what we were doing now. It's been so long. What were we collecting there? I don't know if we were just collecting like marks and seals and stuff. Maybe that was a seal generating one.
Well, I'm pretty sure it would have generated seals, I would think, but so this would have been after the revamp then, though, if it was awarding that. All right, Cinders, do you have any favorites?
I don't, but this was on my mind because you were asking me about the Mirkwood instances today, and I was like, pretty sure skirmishes just never topped my list of favorite things. So I think probably my favorite instances would be any of the ones where you get into them and then it's basically just follow them around and let them talk. It's easy, it's a little bit interesting, and you can like look at all the scenery and stuff. How about you, Pine?
Yes, let's see. A lot of that depends on my mood, of course, because I'm just saying like that. I'm rarely in the mood where I'm saying, because if I'm looking for a challenging, rewarding skirmish, there's Doom of Karis Galebrin, but if I'm waiting for something nice and chill, that is the last skirmish I would think of. Then I'd rather have something like Thievery and Mischief. There was a time where I really, really liked Protectors of Thonglehod, which, of course, is one that, because you get to play with the ballistae, and you're firing them, boom, shoot, 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 at the troops and all that stuff. And when I'm playing it solo, what I do on this, Dave, is I would go up to the top, I will fire it, then I'll come down to the gate, meet the mobs at the gate, and then fire them down like this. So I sort of whittle them down a little bit, stuff like this. So I had a lot of fun doing that. The only problem is it lost a little charm to it when they changed the algorithm for the soldiers. And back then I was using a banner guard. And so traditionally the banner guard would just stay right next to me when I was shooting the ballistae, and then stay next to me when I go down. The banner guard would be nice and well behaved. And then they changed the algorithm to the melee soldiers. And they decided that every single one of them decided that the best thing we could do for you is to stand outside in front of Thonglehod while you go and fire that ballista. No!
Get out of the way!
Yeah, it's sort of, I lost my taste for the banner guard and for that skirmish in a little ways because of that. So I'm trying to think what is a favorite in there, because there are a lot of story instances that you have in there. I think a lot of the fun ones are the story ones. I think a lot of them come from the quest ones inside of the epic storyline, because a lot of those, maybe it's because you do them once as you're going through on your character in there, so they don't overstay their welcome any. As you understand me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the one from Umbar where you're saying, okay, let's have this nice, pleasant voyage on a ship. The Cinders knows exactly the results of that little voyage. I don't know if Krister has had that voyage yet.
I don't know if I have either. I don't think I've made it that far. That just
Okay. Oh, you still haven't had the ship voyage then to Umbar.
I must have, because I'm in Umbar, but I might have been ported to Umbar illegally too. So
Illegal imports.
after all my problems in Harwick, I've
The captain is an illegal import.
Did you do the epic story?
I've got to look because I did the epic a while back, but I'm not quite sure. Just not being in front of it, I'm not quite sure where I was. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's hard for me to believe that you forgot about the sea voyage.
Well,
it's
because he was doing it, but then he focused on just leveling up and then getting geared up rather than on the quests.
A Krister with low morale cannot stand, so it had to be addressed, and I was feeling much better yesterday.
Yes.
Although I feel like Cinders now has gotten intimidated by my morale, and now she needs more. So
yes. So,
but my question is, how much morale can you technically pack into that small of a space? And I just don't think that you can pack that much.
Well, I suppose we'll find out on Friday, won't we?
But that's really cool. That's going to happen naturally, anyways. As we both get our gear squared away. I think that's with both of us is just getting our gear squared away. We're going to be just fine. But I don't think were you having. I don't even recall you dying last night.
I recall I died twice, but it was like two big hits. And I still don't actually know what killed me. I just know that I was frozen and then my morale just dropped.
Okay, yeah, because I recall you. I thought you were up for the whole event too. So even though we don't have the flash, even though I can't say I have 2 million morale now, at least I'm not dying outright. So that's good.
Yeah. Anyhow, I definitely inspected your armor. To see what made the difference.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not quite there yet, so I wouldn't have been... Yeah.
Hey, it was at least a good start.
If you looked at my armor last night, you're probably going, how does he even get around? How is he working? How does he do damage? How do you actually hold aggro?
No, so I was looking at that. I was like, okay, so this is the same, but I slotted a resistance here, and he slotted a vitality there. And so... in a lot of ways, they are very similar, but you had slotted vitality in a couple of places where I had slotted something else because I didn't have a vitality available. So
well, and that's not as big of a deal anymore, obviously, too.
Yeah.
Because I used to be of all cram as much vitality as I can. Because not only was that good for the yellow line, that was the sensible thing to do if you were a blue line a healer captain. Is because all of your, or not all of them, but most of your healing involved you sacrificing your morale. And so having a huge morale pool made sense. But nowadays, I don't know. I'm honestly thinking probably 300k is probably exactly where both of us would be perfectly fine as tanks in the new way of things,
I think so. And I noticed that you're at about 300k, but then Pineleaf was like, was that before or after he used his buff? And I was like,
yeah, but
I don't know.
Effectively, that is my morale because the buff is up pretty much all the time. Anyways.
Yeah, I was like, all I know is that when he buffed me, I was just under 300k. So, anyhow. Yeah, so I did go and do a little bit of work on it and pulled out a couple of things and swapped some essences in. Got a few new pieces of pretty jewelry that I made myself. Slotted the essences in there, and so I'm pulling about 252,000 without a buff right now, so I'm feeling pretty good about that, which means that when I get a buff, I should be up over 300k. So
well, and then you've slotted into tanky stuff anyways, even if you're fighting vitality. So that's good. Yep. All good as well.
So let's say and then I've been working on my virtues because a lot of those have passive morale, and I think you probably have all of your virtues up, and so I've been working on mine. And dragging Pineleaf along with me. So
yeah, that's kind of interesting. How far do you have to go with your virtues? Were you capped before, and now you're just
no
cap or
no? So M started out, I think she probably made it to like level 30 doing like actual landscape stuff. And then she did skirmishes to level 80. And then she's just kind of been playing catch up with her virtues ever since. And before they redid the way that they distributed the virtue things, I was only doing like deeds that would give me virtues for vitality. And so I wasn't doing all of them. But now with the way that the virtue points get distributed, where they're not specific to any category, you can just pick one. I started with the ones that had vitality in the top 3 stats and maximum morale in the top 3 stats. And then now I'm going back through and putting it on the ones that had the passive morale. And so a lot of them are at like 10, 11, and needing to get up to 90. So
that's what I was going to say. There's quite a journey ahead. But the bottom line is you're going to do it.
Yeah. So. And like I said, I've been deeding, and it's a great way to get those virtue points. And so swapped a few things around, and so far so good.
Well, and as you guys both witnessed last night, my kin knows who the tank is, who the layabout captain is that just wastes everybody's time.
I will say, it was very nice to have you around and available when I was like, Krista! Because you were just
that's
right
the whole point.
there.
If I'm a good off tank,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm watching what you're typically. I'm watching what you're doing, and like for instance, I think there was one point where you pulled 2 of those like hulking pounder guys, and one of them got away from you, and that's exactly what an off tank's for. So once that guy got away from you, I taunted him and I pulled him back.
Yep.
So that's why I'm very loosey-goosey. I feel very loosey-goosey with the aggro, just because it's not it's not a sensitivity point if you or I have aggro.
Yeah.
The important point is that one of us has aggro. And so that's how I've always looked at aggro, because you and I can't be elegant with our AoE taunts, especially in combat. And so it's just being aware of that and working with that. But we're doing that just great too. What I really love about the kin, and we saw a little bit of that the last night, is we're always good when everything kind of swerves. And we're always good. We're good about keeping our heads down and doing our work when things get spicy. And what I love is just that's what I loved about Ploy in the first place, is when we pull off these things that we shouldn't have pulled off or survived where other people would have perished. It's just a great feeling. Or my favorite thing of all time is when somebody declares, as we're overwhelmed by the monsters, "Oh, we're all dead. That's all over."
Yep.
And then all the ploysters get to work, and we don't die.
Yeah. But yeah, especially in that last with that last boss, being able to tank swap like that and knowing that you were just like right there as soon as I was like, help, and able to just take that aggro, that was so nice. I did not die in that last round, and that was big.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that went so
good.
Smoothly. It's kind of scary.
It's usually how that is. We die and die and die and die, and we fail and fail and fail in the most embarrassing ways. And then when we actually get it, we just fly through it like we never had any problems in the first place, you know?
Yep.
And then, of course, we get arrogant about that, and then the next time we get smashed again. So I'm just predicting our next run might not be so much fun. So
especially if we go tier 2 like you thought we might. So
well, you heard the did you feel the temperature drop when tier 2 was mentioned? Because everybody's like, you know what? Maybe we could run it at T1 again, just so I can feel good about myself.
Yeah. Well, see,
and then we can run it at T2.
So I logged on today, and I got the notification that I had failed tier 1, and I was like, "What?" So I think I missed a little clicky somewhere in there that I needed to have clicked on.
Oh, did you? Did you click the thing next to the ramp?
Yeah, I clicked the pedestal, but I think there was something else before that point that I should have clicked that I didn't. So I would not be opposed to running it again at tier 1 just so I could check.
Well, the good news is we've got time. We've got time to run this raid a couple more times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In my case, why I might want to do it again at T1 is simply because, all right, my lore master has finished the storyline, but I have other characters that would also like to finish the storyline.
Right. And you gotta do the raid to finish the storyline, so.
Right, you gotta do the raid to finish that storyline. Why? I don't know, but
Yeah. But I think a whole bunch of the Ploy people finished the storyline too right afterwards because I was seeing them running back the other direction from the quest givers. I was like, oh, we all had the same idea. We all just went and finished this because we were done finally.
Finally! Yes. All right. And then let's then go into a little thing that's a little bit more casual than raiding. And that involves playing level 1 chickens. So here's the new player question is, how do you get involved in chicken runs?
And I really want to know because I have never been involved in one, and I think that they are hysterical.
Well, now that you've mentioned that the chickens actually have a level, could we technically Valar the chicken?
No.
No.
Oh, it'd be really. I bet you that'd be some good fried chicken.
Oh, that would be delicious fried chicken. I would eat that. Could go on those feasting tables.
Yeah, the chicken runs have always been casual for me. It's always been organized by a member of the kin. And they're pretty hysterical. It is quite something to see the chickens running through the landscape as well.
Yes, and when you consider that with all those chickens running through the landscape, and you have all these mobs here who are salivating at seeing them coming, and you have to keep those mobs away from the poor chickens.
The annual migration of the chickens is occurring again.
It ends with all of them going off the top of Minas Tirith.
Yes. All right. I believe the whole thing starts at Sanson's farm.
Okay.
Which is near Waymeet in the Shire. And somewhere in that vicinity. I think it's the road that goes north halfway between Mickledelving and Sanson's farm, somewhere around that area. And you go up north and you have a series of quests over there. And eventually what you're going to be asked is to talk to a chicken to find out what's going on. And when you do that, you take on the role of a chicken and you try to go in there. And you do first a couple of short runs in there. You're in a field in the Shire and you have to go. I can't remember what exactly your goals are that first little one in the Shire under, but you have this nice casual one that's in the Shire where I think you're just supposed to survive and maybe do one or two things. I forgot exactly what the whole storyline and the whole thing because it's so long since I've started doing something involving chickens in there. So you do that. Then after doing a few quests along this line, you eventually are going to be, you're given a quest where you're supposed to run to a certain location in order to, in the form of a chicken. So I know that one of them involves going up to that lake in the northeast of Bree, for example, and then there are various other landmarks so you're given a certain amount of time in order to complete them. And I think there might be one to Rivendell, perhaps. I can't remember all the locations there, but you have various different locations where you can go as a chicken. And once you do this enough times, you eventually unlock long-term chicken play, where I think you could have 6 hours or something like this, and you could go to just about any place on the map. And that's the mode you're in usually when you have these big chicken runs or the like. So, of course, you also have sessions where someone is running a let's unlock chicken play thing where you go from the beginning all the way up to doing all of those intermediary quests that eventually unlocks the final product.
Okay.
So when I say I feel like chicken tonight, it takes on a whole new relevance.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, you're making me hungry for one of my favorite foods.
Yeah. Okay.
I have to go get myself some fried chicken now.
I forgot that there was actual work into becoming a permanent or a full time chicken. I thought I just coasted through it, but maybe it was, maybe it blocked it from my memory because it was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So. Yeah. All right. So this is the first quest is the sky is falling line, and I told you that there was this opening quest, and it's effectively a logic puzzle. Is that very first quest, and then you have something called the early bird.
Well, we know they get the worm.
Yeah, and that's it. You have to collect 4 earthworms as a chicken, and when you do that and get back to Belina, that's when you manage to complete that quest. So that's your first quest as a chicken. So you're just in the area and doing that. That next one is called The Sky is Falling. And I think that's one where you have to go to various chicken coops all throughout the Shire.
And tell them that the sky is falling.
Yeah, and you have to talk to these various people into various points of the Shire. So in that case, you're going further afield things. First, you're just being local near Sanson's farm. Then you're going out all throughout the Shire because you're heading out all the way to the Cotton's Coop and Maggot's Coop. So you have to go into past Tuckborough, and then you have to go all the way out into the Marish and going through there. So you have to, and you have to go to, that's right, Brownlock's Coop. And of course, Brownlock's Coop is a relatively tricky one because if you remember Brownlock's farm, it's overridden by wolves.
I think wolves, do they eat chicken?
They've been known to. And then finally we have Flying the Coop. And in Flying the Coop, this is where you really start to head out and you talk to various creatures in the Shire. So you talk to Old Sally, you talk to the fox, you talk to a wolf. Don't now tell me why you're talking to a wolf there. You're talking to a fox is probably not the safest thing to do either, I would think.
No.
And that's right. And then you talk to Grip and Fang. So you're doing all of those. Then you have the instances going out to various places. First to Breeland, as I said before, that first was to Breeland. Then you have one going out to Eredluine, then to Evendim, then to the Lone Lands, then to the North of Downs, and then to the Troll Shawls, which I think. And then, once you do that, then you have into the Great Wide Open, into the next series in there where, let's see, is Travel to Minas Tirith. Oh, okay, yeah, the Minas Tirith one was something that was added later. Because obviously, they didn't have Minas Tirith when they first created that. Then you have Theron Balk again, which I presume is to Erebor, because that sounds like to Lake Town, to Erebor, the Lonely Mountain, so you got to get all the way to Erebor for that one. And then you have the free range one, which the free range chicken thing is, actually I said 6 hours before. Let's see if that's still true. 8 hours. It looks like it's 8 hours now. So yeah, 8 hours to roam around Middle Earth. The primary objective of this session play is to complete all the Chicken Play Explorer and Traveler deeds. So yes, there is a set of Traveler and Explorer deeds as a chicken.
I love it.
Yes.
I loved when you said earlier, you made a statement where I was just like, what if this was just a random job requirement? And it was like, okay, so let's see, you have to have your bachelor's and you have to get 4 worms as a as a chicken. How do I do that? Well, I don't know, but that's the requirement for this job. So. Yeah, it's really funny to think that the chickens have a language where they can communicate with foxes and wolves as well. That really, I feel like that complicates things. What are the politics of these the forest and field creatures?
Right. So they have things like discover bag end chicken. The bag end chicken stone. Discover the Madam House chicken stone. So there are apparently these chicken stones all throughout the various different locations, like in Angmar. Like, okay, good luck in getting all the way to Angmar and staying alive, right? Especially with all those
chicken stone, though. Is a chicken stone like some kind of holy object? Is this just was there a great chicken that journeyed forth earlier in like the first age and deposited all these stones? Or I'm kind of interested now.
Well, we don't know what the legends of chickens are.
But when we become a chicken, we should be able to understand something of it, though, right? Or maybe we're just
have a compendium.
The chicken compendium.
And when everybody else looks at it, it's just like chicken scratch.
The
and when
chickenomicron.
Look at it, it's like buck 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 buck.
That's right. In the fourth block.
Yes. All right. Does that give you the idea of how chicken runs work?
Yes, it does.
Okay. But anyway, as we said before, you get involved in those at Sanson's farm. So you talk to Walt Sanson. Starts it out. As I said, the first quest is a logic puzzle, but after that, all the rest of the quests in there are involved in one way or the other, taking in the form of a chicken in a session play and completing some objective until you finally unlocked 8-hour runs.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah. And of course, chickens aren't the only animal that you can play.
Oh.
Oh, yes. But the other one, I'm sure that Krista has it, but I think you probably missed out on it, and that is that there was during the pre-release for Rohan, they had a means in which where you could play a horse.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and in fact, you've been to the Trolshaws while doing the bridal quest for, you're trying to hunt down the Nazgul, and you're trying to get the bridle, and you notice that nearby there are these level 65, was it 75, I think, level 75 Kargul.
Yeah.
That are just off on the area. So what is a level 75 Kargul doing in this level 40-ish zone? And those are for one of the quests for playing a horse.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. So when you're playing a horse, you're level 75 instead of level 1. But yes, as far as I know, those are the only two animals that you can play on the landscape.
Okay.
Oh, imagine if we could do that with a Mumak.
Yeah.
That would be
Oh,
great.
that would be a lot of fun.
Yes. And I have seen horses attend Weatherstock at times because it's within the area of where you can go, because I think one of the quests in there is to go to the Lone Lands, and you have an hour of horseplay while you're doing it, so you can get up to Weathertop. And actually, that's right, because the quest does send you up to Weathertop, because I think it starts you in Oscarooth, you go to Weathertop and to go back. So you've got plenty of time then if Weatherstock is going on in order to go up to the top of the hill.
Okay.
Oh, that would be so funny to have a group of people as horses show up. That would.
Yes. And that's it for chicken runs, and a quick mention on horseplay, which unfortunately, while chicken runs are open for everyone, the horse session plays do require that you pre-ordered Rohan way back when. I think that was advertised as an exclusive for the pre-orders, so it's not something that they could bring back. So I suppose they could always bring up another animal or something like that at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe Moomak play.
Exactly.
And I have a feeling, though, they don't want people going around playing Moomaks out in Bree or something like that.
Oh, that would be hysterical. That would be so funny to see a Moomak sitting in Bree.
All right.
100.
Let's go and look into our weekend gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, last night was a very good night for us raiding. I'd been looking forward to a time when we had enough people assembled so we could do our raids again, and we've been pretty consistent the last couple of weeks, which has been great. And so last Friday, of course, we got within a hair's breadth of completing that raid, and so everybody was charged up, and this week we had victory, and it was very satisfying. We actually kind of had our tactics together, we talked about it, and we were successful. So I want to thank you two for coming along as well, because you guys were an important part of that, and it was just fun to complete that fight and get that one done. Now that we've toppled this crystal, I was inspired to watch the Dark Crystal again. I want to compare. I want to see which crystal's bigger. I think the green one's bigger than the Dark Crystal. But so, anyways, feeling good about that. And my kin took extreme pity on my destitution in terms of my equipment, and had crafted a bunch of stuff for me. So I geared up and felt much better about myself. And it showed last night, and so we had a lot of fun with LOTRO this week. And then I've just been having I don't know what it is about this anymore. I just love playing this fast moving, lightning wielding orc in ESO, and I just have a lot of fun with him. So I've been running him around doing stuff, and then I got that Axis and Allies online, and I've been playing that as well, and that's been pretty fun. Cinders, what have you been up to?
Well, I did Guathranos with Ploy last night, and it was awesome. We did beat that crystal, and it was fantastic.
Hooray!
And I only died twice, which is also good. But I do need to work on my morale, because Krister had whistle-worthy morale, and I did not. So I need to do some work.
Now keep in mind, your deaths weren't like you tripped over a bug and died, because you were facing immense evil when you fell,
and
you were doing your tank job.
And I was not wielding a legendary Noodle.
Ooh.
It does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh wait! You still had a legendary Noodle at
Well,
that time?
I realized, unfortunately, that I thought I had like this plethora of ancient script. No, I don't. so upgrading stuff, I upgraded a few key things, but yeah, mostly it's kind of a half baked noodle, I'd say. Right now.
Out of curiosity, have you been using the reward track?
No.
No, your most important source of ancient script.
So I kind of went through. I kind of have been going through my LOTRO slow right now. So
yeah,
and so the reward track was kind of unknown and scary, and I didn't really think about it too much, so I never really got into it. And then it was like embarrassing not to admit that I didn't know what was going on with the reward track. So then I just shut my mouth anytime somebody talked about it, or if they're talking about, oh yeah, the reward track, yeah, Chris, you got that? Oh yeah. I know nothing about it. Yeah.
Oh, Krister, it's like free stuff for your LIs. Everything you kill that's a mob on level with you contributes towards that.
When your nickname is in Compa Krister, you have to work to keep that title. Okay, so
well, I mean,
not utilizing the reward track is right up that alley. Okay.
Yes. Well, Krister, you've got 2 weeks to cash in all those goodies from this reward track season before it gets reset.
I think I'm logging to take a look at the reward track.
I was gonna say, what are you doing when we get done with this? Because we will help you figure this out. Also, finishing out my week before we get too sidetracked. I did get to finish the Return to Ingmar questline because we finished Guathranost. And so I've been working on M's Deeds and Gear and dragging Pineleaf along for it. And then we today unlocked almost all the Mirkwood skirmishes because Pineleaf has been insistent. And I've drug my heels as much as I could here. But he wanted to do the Ill Omens today, and I was so close that we just did that. So, and we learned you can use the ballista on the Harbinger, and it was pretty epic. Because I would just, like, grab the aggro and pull them to stand in the circle, and then he would just shoot them.
Boom,
Glorious.
boom, boom, boom.
How was your week, Pine?
All right, well, my warden completed the Ill Omens event, which means I've finished 10 sets of that and have the cloak in there. So now I have this nice cloak that is, I'm hoping someday soon will get a glorious little cloak essence at some point in the future. But I have a feeling that cloak essence is going to be related to the raid or something like that. And then my ward managed to also get the Lady of the Streams title, which means lots of fishing. Then my low-level Mariner finished up the Wildwood and is now ready to head into Moria. So that's all nice and ready in there. And my Lore Master finally managed to complete the Return to Angmar questline thanks to these other two people with me today. and of course, 9 other people employ.
Yes.
Our alliance of super friends.
We currently have 13 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, you go to the Donations page. We support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money being used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you would like to send us an email message, you can send it to podcast@lotrplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time, we record LOTRO Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You can join us for our shows at lotrplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. This is Pine Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.